makes me really concerned about everybody's health, mental health, physical health, financial health, everything else. And it is what it is. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Right. So good morning, everybody. And let me just start the day by telling you about this. First of all, I want to say last night we had a great time. One of the things we believe in is building industry within the Black community. We don't want to depend on anybody. We don't want to be anybody's second fiddle. We don't want to be, getting fronted on by other people who claim that they own us and control us. And so we're building a Black Hollywood. One of the things I realized is that with all the hundreds of thousands of people that follow this platform, I said, we've got so many Black filmmakers, directors, producers, writers, actors, actresses that are really talented, and they're milking our talent. They're living off of our talent. So I said, why don't we, help create platforms for them, help them create distribution for their content. So we created Black Movie Night, and Black Movie Night is where we feature a Black filmmaker or two or three every single month. And we show their movie, and we all gather together as a family and get a chance to watch a film together, which I think is really awesome, considering how people are feeling right now with, being stuck at home and everything else. So Black Movie Night is really fun. So if you're looking for a a family-like atmosphere with a bunch of other, crazy Black people just like you, feel free to join us at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. We're going to do the next one in about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So anyway, with that said, here's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Today, there's some more. Well, there's bad economic news, but there's a difference between bad economic news that is a surprise and bad economic news that was expected. The bad news was always expected. There's no way on earth you could take an economy that was running as fast as ours and just shut the whole thing down. I mean, just shut it down to nothingness and expect that to end well. That will not end well. And so what we're seeing now in terms of reports are that job losses are going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, maybe even as bad as the Great Depression. We know that the most jobs lost in a month during the recession or the economic collapse of 2007, 2008 was about 800,000 jobs. Here they're talking about a number between 500,000 and 5 million, up to 5 million jobs. And that's just going to be catastrophic for the economy. I'm not surprised one bit because you literally, as I told you, when you literally tell all the businesses to shut down and all the customers to stay home, how do you think that's going to end? That's not going to end well. So now you're starting to see the storm after the calm, if you will. You're starting to see all the long-term economic problems that are going to exist. I don't think we have the economic ammunition to pull ourselves out of this. We could be in for a prolonged depression. Now for the good news. The good news is that you're Black. And being Black means that we can survive things. My grandma, I asked my grandma, who was born during the Great Depression, and I said, what was it like living during the Great Depression? And she said, we never knew that there was a depression because we were always poor. we always struggled. So I personally think that we have a resilience and an ability to adapt and to evolve and to survive. And we're going to have to tap into that as the economy changes. And so to give you some insight into this, I'm going to read some of this to you. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button right now, and make sure you subscribe to the Black Financial Channel. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with the economy and stuff like that. So they said that, so the bullet points here are that the coronavirus is likely to result in layoffs on a scale that the U.S. has never seen. Economists expect April to be the first month where the damage starts to show up in the reports. It's so bad that the weekly jobless claims number is so bad that the Trump administration is actually asking some people to not release the numbers. Now you would say, well, why would they not release the numbers? Well, it's because right now, the number one virus in America that's infected, this has a 90% infection rate and a 90% mortality rate, is fear. And when I say mortality rate, I'm talking about this virus is going to kill your whole entire bank account. It's going to disinfect every dollar bill that's in your account. because fear is just the worst thing in the world when it comes to economic situations. Fear does to an economy what fear does to a relationship. Like imagine if you're dating somebody and you're afraid that that man might rape you, right? All right, ladies, are you going to, yes or no, ladies, are you going to sleep with a man? Are you going to open your heart up to a man that you think might violate you? Or would you consider, if you thought that he even might do it, let's say there's a 2% chance he might do it and a 98% chance he won't, would you open yourselves up to a man who might rape you? Or fellas, if you know that a woman might, break your heart or might steal all your money, let's say there's just a 2% chance, like you just heard a rumor that, that she was hanging out with Cardi B and Cardi B trained her on how to drug men and take all their money. Would you mess with a woman like that? Would you, fellas, would you spend time? Would you make yourself vulnerable to a woman like that? No, you wouldn't. Right. So if you don't trust, if you have fear, then you can't build relationships. And if you can't build relationships, then you can't have reproduction. You're not going to have a baby with that woman. You're not going to, nothing will come. No fruit will bear itself from that man if you think that man might assault you. Well, why do I use that analogy? Some people think I'm weird when I use relationship analogies to talk about economics. I do that because everybody understands love. Not many people understand finance, but everybody understands love. And certainly everybody understands sex. Well, economics is a lot like that. When you are building an economy is built on forming economic relationships. It's built by bringing consumers together with producers, buyers with sellers, right? Investors with those who need capital. And all that's built on trust. And so if you don't trust, if you're scared that, that the person that you, that hiring new employees is going to cause your business to go bankrupt, then you're not going to go hire anybody. You're going to keep your money, close to your vest. If you're a bank and you're scared that the person you loan money to is never going to pay you back and is going to financially violate you by defaulting on the loan, happens all the time. A lot of y'all got family members that borrow money from you and never paid you back. If you're scared that somebody's not going to pay you back, then you're not going to loan them anything. You're not going to do business with them, right? And what happens is that because you're not engaging, because you're not linking up, hooking up, then no fruit will bear from that relationship. When you form a great business, that's why the ability to resolve conflicts and to work together is so important in our community, because if you can work together and form a team and stick together, then fruit will come from that. Great opportunities come from that. I go to conferences, I meet other business people, we do business together, it bears fruit, just like making a baby, right? But if you're scared of each other and you don't connect, or you're scared of each other and you distance yourselves from one another, you engage in social distancing, economically speaking, then you will not bear fruit, right? You're going to be out here on an island by yourself. So we're moving from a world where everybody was kind of integrated and connected to a world where everybody's isolated and distancing from one another, physically, psychologically, and economically. All of this is going to be absolutely disastrous for the economy. Now, some of you, I saw someone mention that the IRS is actually going to extend the tax deadline because of this. That's not a surprise. They may extend it again because, this is not something that's going to go away easily. And also remember that you got a bunch of rich dudes running the federal government right now. So they're all for anything that benefits wealthy people and keeps them from paying taxes, right? So they're probably going to, if you're a business owner or an investor, they're probably going to pass a lot of laws and push a lot of things through that are going to take care of rich people. Even people like Bernie Sanders are rich, right? Bernie Sanders advocates for the poor, but Bernie Sanders is very wealthy and he does not give a lot of that money away to charity. So, so really your government's run by a bunch of rich people. So you're going to probably see some things done for investors, for business owners. Fortunately, though, I did hear Trump mention the idea of just sending cash payments to Americans, putting money in their pocket. I don't know if he was just blowing smoke to get votes or if he's really going to do it. I hope he does. He was talking about a family of four getting a payment of up to $3,000, which I think would be awesome. That would be great in terms of boosting an important part of the economy, which is called consumer spending. But I also think that you got to bail out these small businesses that are employing lots of people. The reason the employment rate is going to be so high is because a lot of these businesses won't be able to afford to have somebody on payroll. I can tell you as a business owner, I can't have people on payroll. I can't pay anybody if we're not making money. If revenue stops, you can't pay people, right? So ultimately, the ability to at least get access to capital is extremely important. It doesn't mean that these have to be grants to these businesses, but loans are absolutely necessary. If they can provide liquidity where a business says, hey, we had a rough month, but if you loan us $500,000, we can keep our people on payroll and play catch up, then a lot of businesses will be fine. But if that money misses the mark, then you're going to see a lot of these businesses go bankrupt. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And I don't want to remind everybody, you guys know that I believe in investing in the stock market, especially times like now. I'm a believer that this, if you go back to the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918, 1919, that shut down the world too, big time. It killed a lot more people. It was a lot more deadly. And what happened right after that economic shutdown was a 10-year boom market that was unlike anything the world had ever seen before. So, sometimes you got to go through the darkness to get to the sunlight. Sometimes after the sun comes out, it's going to get dark. So right now it might get a little bit dark, but history says that a lot of sunlight tends to come after the dark. Right after the Great Depression, the 1940s, when we had World War II, unfortunately we had a war, right? But so hopefully we won't have one of those. But World War II was a huge boom market for a lot of people. That's when the baby boomers came out, because everybody was so happy they were making money that they all started making babies and getting houses with white picket fences and all that. So, the stock market, there's a lot of promise. There's a lot of opportunity there. And so if you want to actually see all the stocks that I'm picking in the Black Stock Market Program, those of you who are enrolled in the program, I actually have a section at the bottom of the curriculum section that says what Dr. Boyce is buying. And so you can see exactly the stocks that I'm buying, all that good stuff, and everything that I've sort of found from the research I've been doing. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. You can do the first month for $1. So go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Feel free to go check that out. Let's see here. Most shipping facilities are still in production. What do you think about that, Dr. Boyce? I don't know. I don't have a thought on that. I don't even. I'm sorry, Jerm. I don't know what that question means exactly when you say most shipping facilities are still in production. If you mean that they're still moving, they're still shipping things, that's true. It's really about a matter of magnitude. Are they doing as much business as they were doing last month? Everything in finance is all relative. It's always how are you doing now compared to how you were doing last month. It's never like, okay, we made $1 billion, so that's good. $1 billion isn't good. $1 billion isn't bad. It's all relative. If you were making $3 billion last month, then $1 billion is horrible. But if you were making, $100 million last month, then $1 billion is great. So, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of job loss. This is not the time, in my opinion, to depend on a job. Even if you have a job, that job is probably in danger. The thing about that too, about economic despair, is that everybody likes to pretend like they're doing well so that their employees and suppliers and customers don't panic. So, because everything's about avoiding panic, because you see what happens when we all panic. Like what you're seeing right now in the economy is what happens when we all panic. So a lot of companies are going to lie to you and tell you everything's fine. And then what happens is they like to sort of, I believe that they do job losses the same way slaughterhouses kill the animals. They don't want the animals, at least not in all. This is what I read. I got to double check this, so don't quote me on this. But from what I've read, what they'll do is they don't want the pigs or the sheep or whatever to panic, or the cows to panic before they're about to slit their throats. They sort of make them think that it's going to be okay, and then they get them real quick, right? Because that way you don't get all the extra, what do they call it? You know what I'm talking about, the toxins that go into your muscles and blood and everything. At least some slaughterhouses do that, right? And I don't even know, does it matter or not? I'm not a health expert, but the point is that I think that's how companies do job losses. Like I remember when I worked for AOL Black Voices back in the day. And it was fine. I didn't need that job because it was my second job. I was actually working at Syracuse University, and AOL had hired me. I worked there for 6 months for free, three to 6 months for free, because I wanted to prove myself. And then once I did, they gave me this extra gig. And so I'm writing all these articles for AOL Black Voices. And I distinctly remember that we were worried about losing our jobs because Ariana Huffington had bought the company. And so on Monday or Tuesday, we get this, this affirmation like, oh, it's going to be fine. Nothing's going to change. Everything's going to be cool. And then like literally 2 days later, they were like, okay, we will no longer need your services anymore. They literally fired everyone. Like they totally wiped out all the Black voices, which I thought was absolutely terrible because, but that's what happens when people like Ariana Huffington come and buy the whole company, right? So long story short, my point is to say that, you really can't trust the economy. That's what I'm saying. You can trust yourself. I think that going back to the basics is really important. One of the things I've always, and this is something I've always really, talked about or preached, if you want to call it that, to Black folks, is that I think that going back to basics is how you actually get ahead in a lot of situations. Like, so for example, I always say, instead of us getting caught up in integrationist sorts of ideas and whatever Hollywood is throwing at us, whatever agenda they're throwing at us, go back to before integration, go back to how your people were, how they survived before white folks pretended like they liked them, and go back to those days and look at how great grandma did it. Look at how your great grandfather was able to still maintain his manhood and have a farm and have a business and do better than you're doing right now with a job, right? I think that these old school ideas of multiple streams of income, they still apply. They apply now more than ever. I think the old school idea of ownership of land, ownership of assets, ownership of businesses, it applies more now more than ever. And so I would, in my opinion, I would really go back to sort of learning some of these basics on how to develop multiple streams of income. I think that there is a fundamental long-term transitional shift in how people engage each other, how people do business with each other, how people learn, how consumers buy, all these things. So, for example, a lot of universities are going to get hit hard because all these parents whose kids were sent home, all these parents are going to come back and be like, where's my money? I want my money back, right? So while these universities are struggling, and also while you're sitting at home, well, maybe it's an opportunity to dig in and find out about the tens of thousands of online learning platforms that exist out here that are better than college. I am a college professor. I was a college professor. I taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University. Y'all know my background. I repeat it for the new people that come in so they don't think I'm just a Negro running his mouth on the internet. I was a college professor for many years, and I can tell you the learning that takes place online is superior in many ways to what college professors are teaching on college campuses. The reason that they can get away with charging $60,000, $70,000 a year is twofold. One, they give you a piece of paper that allows you to go into the economic system and get a job. Well, jobs aren't what they used to be. They don't pay as well. They're not secure like they used to be. And also, you're Black. You'll never stop being Black no matter where you get your degree from. That's never going to change. They're always going to know that you're Black. It's going to be the first thing they notice about you when you walk through the door. But then the other reason that is superior is because of cost. University costs have gotten so high that people are in student loan debt. The number one reason that Black wealth is going to drop to zero, median Black wealth will drop to zero by 2053, is because of student loan debt. So your most educated Black people, the ones who are supposed to be the talented 10th, are actually the ones who are going to contribute the most to the loss in Black wealth, because you're giving all of your money away to universities that are owned by people who are not in your community, and they're taking that money and they're going off and doing something else with it. So I think online learning actually is superior because you can learn exactly what you need to know. You ain't got to waste your time with nonsense. They charge you at a price that is a much fairer than what universities charge, and you can do it quickly, and you can do it from your home, and you can do it right now while you're in quarantine. Okay, so those are my thoughts. And if you don't believe me, just go do some more research on it and see for yourself. I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. I want to say, just in conclusion, I think that you're in for just kind of the beginning of the problems that you're going to see with this economic situation. I think that you're going to possibly see even more declines in the stock market as the information unravels itself. But if you want to know what I'm doing as it pertains to stock investing, I'm buying. I'm a buyer. I buy the dips because if you're a long-term investor, history says that if you invest over, say, a 10-year horizon, things like this become just blips on the radar screen. right? So that's just my 2 cents. Somebody says, will this video be available online? Yeah, you can go subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com, and you can go back and watch this video. Someone mentioned they want to share it with their daughter. I think that's very important. While you and your family are at home quarantined together and just sitting in there driving each other crazy, I got my kids upstairs. They drive me crazy too. That's why I'm in the basement right now, because I'm like, y'all got to stay up there. But while you're there, use this as an opportunity to learn. You're gonna have to figure out the rules on your own, because I don't believe the government can really be trusted in any of this. I think they're going to tell you what they need to tell you in order to get you to do what they want you to do, but they're doing something completely different with their own families. And I just really think you have to piece it all together on your own. That's just my 2 cents. That's my belief. So anyway, moving on. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. Follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. And also, somebody asked the URL for the stock market program. If you'd like to join the Black Stock Market Program, I can show you everything you want to know about investing in the stock market. There's dozens of hours of curricula. It's really, really good. You can try the first 30 days for just $1, and there's a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. College classes don't give you that, and this is better than the college class. It's really amazing. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. THE. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. And by the way, tomorrow, Dr. Claude Anderson says he's feeling better, so I think I'm gonna have him in on drboycetv.com tomorrow. So those of you who hang out with us, you'll see Dr. Anderson hopefully tomorrow. I'm gonna check in on him, make sure he's okay. He's the OG. He's the guy everybody should be listening to in general, because he's it's absolutely astonishing to me that we have universities, particularly HBCU. Shame on you, HBCUs, that don't teach your students powernomics. You're teaching Black people. You must teach them differently from the way you teach white people. The goal of educating a Black person is not to make them into a dark replacement for a white guy. The goal of educating Black people is to teach them the unique challenges, responsibilities, opportunities, and expectations that come with being Black. And you do not teach Black people the same way you teach white people. So every HBCU in America should be teaching powernomics. It's a damn shame that they don't do that. And because that's like a Bible for me. I keep books like that right next to me, because that's what I go to when I want to understand the game plan for winning this economic game in this world. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to go hit the thumbs up button, and have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.